Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to explore a really fascinating thought experiment, one that could honestly flip your whole idea of time on its head. We're going to tackle something called the paradox of a timeless life. So right off the bat, let me ask you this. Imagine your life not as this long line of events, from start to finish, but as a single point, just one instant. And in that one single moment, you make one mistake. Just one. What do you think happens? Just hang on to that thought, because it's central to everything we're about to unpack. All right, first things first, we need to set the stage. We're talking about a timeless creature. So what is that? Well, it's a thought experiment, right? We have to picture a being that exists totally, completely, beyond the flow of time as we know it. So what does timeless existence even mean? And this is key. It's not just about living forever and ever. No, it's something way weirder. It's a state where your past, your present, and your future, they all happen at the exact same time. A single, simultaneous now. So this being, it's experiencing its birth, its childhood, its old age, everything, all at once. Wild, right?
Okay, so we've got this timeless being. Now, here comes the paradox. What happens if this creature messes up, makes a single mistake? Well, this is where the thought experiment gets really intense and reveals a pretty devastating consequence.
All right, let's walk through the logic here because it's absolutely crucial. 1. The creature transcends time. 2. It exists in all its moments at once. 3. It commits a single sin. Now, because all moments are now, that mistake isn't something in the past that it can learn from or move on from. No, that mistake becomes an eternal, ever-present act. It's always sinning. And the result of that, according to this line of thought, it's instant and final annihilation. Bam, gone. And this quote, wow, it just hits the nail on the head. He is not one who once sinned. He is one who is always sinning. See the difference? The being doesn't just have a memory of a mistake. That mistake becomes its entire identity, eternally. It is forever trapped in that single act. There's no before the mistake or after the mistake to give it any space to change. It's just the mistake. So you might be asking, why? How does that work? To really get it, we've got to dig into a super important distinction, the source material mix. Turns out there are two totally different kinds of eternity. And understanding this difference, it's the key that unlocks this whole paradox. And here they are. It's fascinating. On one side, you've got what we can call a creature's eternity. Think of it like an infinitely long road. Time just keeps going and going, forever. But then on the other side, you have what's called always eternity. This isn't a road at all. This is like being in a helicopter looking down and seeing the entire map of existence all at once. A created being, the argument goes, can travel that infinite road, but it can never get into the helicopter to see the whole map. So that's the fundamental difference, right? A created being can experience endless time, that infinite road, but it can't just become an always existing being that was never created in the first place. Something with a beginning can't magically transform into something that has no beginning. It's a fundamental contradiction. Okay, but wait, you might be thinking, what if we cheat a little? What if this creature's free will was perfected before it went into this timeless state? Wouldn't that solve the problem? It's a good question, but the source argues, nope, not even that would be enough. And here's why. The demands of timelessness are, well, they're just impossible for a created being. It's not about just making a bunch of good choices in a row. It demands being perfect across every single moment simultaneously. You'd basically need to be omniscient to avoid any possible error, ever. And a will that was perfected within time is just not the same thing as a will that can handle existing outside of time. So the bottom line is this. A granted free will, the kind we have, is, well, it's designed for a specific environment. It's made to work inside time's protective framework. It's like a deep-sea fish. It's perfectly adapted for the crushing pressure of the deep, but you can't just pull it out into the open air and expect it to survive. It's just not equipped for that reality. And all of this leads to a really powerful, kind of beautiful conclusion. If this whole timeless existence thing is so dangerous, so perilous for any created being, then maybe our experience of time isn't a prison. Maybe it's not a limitation at all. Maybe time is the ultimate shield, a gift. Think about it. A life without time? One mistake, and that's your identity. Forever. There's no chance to say you're sorry, no room to grow. Judgment is instant, and it's final. In fact, this argument suggests that in a timeless reality, imperfect creatures like us, we couldn't even be created. The risk would be too high.
But now, look at a life within time. Time is that buffer zone. It gives us a space between our actions and their ultimate consequences. It creates the opportunity to change, to repent, to become better. It's the very thing that protects our free will and lets it grow. Honestly, it's what makes our entire messy, imperfect existence even possible.
And this last quote just wraps it all up perfectly. Time suspends judgment for the imperfect creature. It's not a cage, it's a safe space, a training ground, where free will is protected, where it gets a chance to be completed without the constant threat of instant, irreversible judgment for every single mistake we make. So, that brings us full circle, right back to a question for you. If time really is this incredible gift, this shield that allows for second chances and growth, if it's the very thing that makes our lives possible, what does it really mean to use that time wisely?